Hello. Today, my Genius Hour / PowerPoint presentation is going to be on How Do Airports Operate by Luke. My questions. Main question, how do airports operate? Sub-question 1. How is the control tower one of the most important things to run an airport? Sub-question 2. Do airlines have to pay airports? Sub-question 3. How do people get around an airport? Sub-question 4. How do workers talk to each other to keep passengers safe and on time? How do airports operate? An airport is a place for people to travel. The passenger goes through security and then waits for their plane to come. When they get on the plane taxis to the runway to take off. There are a lot of people working at an airport to do different things so the airport is safe, on time, and keeps running. How is the control tower one of the most important things to run an airport? In America, there are 3 different types of air traffic control. They are Air Mail Radio Stations, or AMRS, was created in 1922 after World War I when the U.S. Post Office started using techniques made by the Army to track movements of aircraft. Now the AMRS is a flight service station. Today's flight service stations do not give control instructions but provide pilots with flight-related informational services. There is also the normal air traffic control that we all know, and that is arrivals and departures. They use radars to track planes' flight path towards the airport. Where do they put the air traffic control tower? Well, the people have to see the whole airport, so they probably put it to the side with a good view of the airport and runways and where no buildings are in the way. Or if you have ever been to Sky Harbor, you know that they stuck the runway in the middle of 2 runways so they get a good view of the airport. The tower walls are mostly windows so the people can see well. What do people in the control tower do? Well, air traffic controllers have a big responsibility. They have a lot of work to do. They are responsible for directing planes for landing and taking off. If one person tells a pilot to take off 10 seconds early, there could be a big crash. Some people who do this job say it is cool because they get to tell the planes where to go, but it can also be a stressful job. There's also a traffic control that the people deal with in the tower too. It is ground control. Ground control is in charge of gates, roads for small trucks, and taxiways. The people tell the planes after they landed where to taxi. Do airlines have to pay airports? Yes, in fact, airlines have to pay for almost everything. How do airports charge airlines for using their gates? Airports lease their gates, which means that the airlines pay the airport to use their gates. Airports who lease their gates should offer a place for baggage claim for that flight. If there are any competition, it is the airports. For example, Manchester offered lower fees and attracted Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines was unwilling to pay the expensive fees at Boston. The fee could be $100 or it could be $1,000. If you're landing an Airbus A380 at Heathrow Airport, it might be even more. How do people get around an airport? Well, there is an airport terminal where the people stay in to wait for their flight. In each terminal, there is security, shops, and places to eat. If you have ever been to SeaTac Airport, you know that underground there is a subway to get from terminal to terminal. You can also take buses. If you have ever been to Sky Harbor Airport, you know that there is a SkyTrain to get from place to place. Since airports are so huge, there has to be a lot of transportation. How do workers talk to each other to keep passengers safe and on time? Workers at airports have phone, radio, and walkie-talkies to talk to each other. Why is it important to have communication for airport workers? Well, for example, a gate is not working and someone notices. A plane is taxiing to that gate. The people who notice have to call the mechanics to come and fix it. They come and fix it right before the plane came to the gate. If it was not for communication, the plane would be late, which would make the whole airport late. Now some pictures of airports. sites I used: evanparts.wordpress.com, wikipedia.com, and I also watched a documentary on YouTube. Conclusion. In conclusion, airports need a lot of workers, space, gates, terminals, and runways to be on time, safe, and keep the airport moving. Glossary/vocabulary. Taxiing. An airport going around an airport, example, to a gate or a runway. Control tower. A tower that people are in to direct planes for landing, takeoff, and taxiing. Terminal. A building for passengers to go through security, eat, shop, and wait for the plane to come. Thank you for watching my PowerPoint presentation / Genius Hour on How Do Airports Operate by Luke.